Okay, so where is you? And then where's my chat stuff? Fence, video storage, more, chat app. There we go. Open in browser. Okay, so let's get everything hooked up and ready to go. How is everyone doing today? Brandon. Yeah. Picardo's loading. Okay. Might be because I'm not. If a response from Picardo API. Okay. I'll have to edit that settings later on. Okie dokie. And streaming live now there. Going live there. And I should be all set. Oh, right. Update titles. Is it gonna... Oh, it's probably waiting for the Picardo thing. There we go. Yeah, that's what it was. Concept art for new game project. Update all art. Boom, 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 boom. And should be good to go. Okay, so sorry about that delay, just trying to get everything going. It's been a while. Did a little test stream 2 nights ago. Okay, let's close this beast. And since the last stream, I finalized this character's design. And here's kind of her sword. I'm not 100% sold on the sheath yet. But at least here I can muck around. By doing some final drawing stuff. And I think what I'm going to do is... Ooh, excuse me. I'm going to dabble with this first. And once I get the line work done here, I have some environment concept stuff to do of the mountain and the town. So I'll probably tackle that right after. So how's everybody doing for a good old Friday evening? And in case you're curious, I will be modeling these as well, because it's going to be for a 3D game. Which I'm actually looking forward to working on. And this sword is actually to scale to her character. So I want her to be like this nice, like thick, chunky kind of blade. Kind of don't like how that is spaced out. I like the idea of the negative space though. But maybe we'll bring back those triangles. And maybe have it I'll come back to that later on. Okay, so let's take a look at let's go 11 by 17, but I'm gonna start off at like 72 DPI, just so that I can move it around super quick. Let's get some thumbnails going. So I'm just gonna go super tiny. And let's get the brush tool going. You know what? Let's mess around with some different brushes. What are some brushes I haven't used before? So that's this is all Dave Greco's Zaza's, those ribbon ones. Yeah, that's a nice texture to it, but it'd be nice to have something that has like, you know what? Why not? Let's mess around with this one for a little while. Alright. So in general, I like to start off with like mid-tone in there. It's not as harsh on the eyes. And I want this like cool mountain shape. So I'm not stressing so much about the elements looking accurate right away. I just want some cool looking shapes first and foremost. And actually, this is like off in the distance, so it should actually be lighter. And let's go off-white. Get the sky going in there. And if you can't tell already, I am a very messy painter. So let's get kind of something like this. And I'm thinking like our main character just standing in the foreground. So some quick stuff like that. Actually, I don't even need you. Let's keep brushes nice and big for the first little bit. You know what? Let's add character in later on, once I have some background elements in there. And I want this idea of this village, these huts at the base of this mountain. There's like cool organic shapes in here. And maybe just like a mountain ridge off in the distance, but these mountains are nowhere near as tall. Just let this one kind of like stands out. And those buildings are a little big compared to what I want. God, it looks like I'm a horrible painter. There we go. Like right now it's just shapes. I'm not trying to make anything look like anything specific, just trying to get some elements to help draw the eye around. And, you know, let's bring it past that point some. Bring it back. And maybe some clouds that are just breaking that space. And some tinier ones off in a distance. Let's get some shapes in there of clouds, chunks that helps guide the eye. Well, I'm hoping chat works. It should. I know it doesn't look super funky currently. So overall, where do I want to guide the eye to. Let's combine those. So thought process is like the mountain's a big important thing, but it's kind of like the town and the top here. So everything's like very heavy on that side of the screen. So what if I take all this lower stuff and let's flip that horizontally. I don't like how that road. But let's play around with a different brush for the next little bit. It's a little smoky. You know what? I'm just gonna go DG main it for a little bit. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to kind of like nudge the village off in this direction a little bit more. And this will be like forest with some trees. That's kind of like the plan. Boom, boom, boom. And so there's like a little bit of flow happening leading up, and I want there to be kind of something cool silhouette wise on the top of this mountain, just because it's a big important part of the game idea. So let's do some adjustments here. And then maybe there's like some happening in the background. Actually, I'll just paint through first. Let's make it like a smaller one. It's kind of going all the way across. I don't like the shapes to it right now. I think it's just because it's so big. Let's make it tinier. So let's darken this up some. Lighten up the sky a little bit, maybe. Just to play off on like the shadows that are on the undersides of these mountains. Kind of deal. So let's collapse that down. And let's do this selection, shrink selected area, 30 pixels. pixels, selection, shrink selected area. So that's 30. Let's say 100. Oh, let's do that one more time. It doesn't seem even. So you know what? Other way. Aspect ratio type. And we want a width of 16 and a height of 9. So it doesn't like to go past 10. So half 16 is 8 and half 9 is 4.5. And that'll at least do its thing. Alright, cool. So here I'm just going to create my own little borders. So let's split this up into four pieces. That seems like it's about half. Oh, it was more than that. Okay. And let's do that. And that. And yeah, when in doubt, force a little. Rulers anymore, and there we go. So back to painting. So that is our frame. Frame, not game. And I don't want to accidentally mess with that. So here, so I'm still going to work with the same kind of idea of just like this mountain village, but I just want to mess around a little bit more with the scale of things and the presentation of it. So what if this mountain is a little bit more squarish? Let's get some cool shapes in here first. And then we get these like smaller ones going off in the distance. Yeah, I haven't gotten around to looking up any royalty-free music quite yet. So if anybody out there has any suggestions of what would be a good place for something that's stream-friendly and YouTube-friendly, it'd probably help if I actually turned the desktop audio on. Yeah, and because it's quiet, I'm trying to be mindful of talking more. So let's see if something like this. Yeah, and we can go back here and kind of main character just kind of standing there on the spot. And maybe this one we're actually like closer into the village. And like the village, I just wanted like these cool building shapes. Something like a little rounder. That actually doesn't seem that big, so let's shrink these suckers down a lot more and put maybe some more buildings that are off in the distance down like this tiny. Too bright. I need a little brighter. So this this town right here at the base of like this mountain, it's there's like a dungeon built into it. And actually, let's get a little darker like entrance. So let's say like the entrance is there. And there's some like something super fancy set up as like the entrance to it. It's a little on the bright side. And so this town, it's built around this place because this dungeon, it's supposed to be this place where adventurers go and want to amass wealth. I know it's a very simple kind of drive, but hey, if it works, it works. And so because of this, there's a lot of people that get attracted to this place, and because of all the people showing up, get some local residents that set up shop and some smithies in order to repair adventurers' equipment and all that kind of stuff. And it's been around for some time. because of that, it's flourished nicely. Though even the residences don't know how long it's been around. So, yeah. I just consider this like super warming up because I am not liking what I'm doing. And am I actually live on Picardo? Oh, I am. Sweet. Thanks, Muffrum. Yeah, it's like I'm not liking this right now. Just 'cause I didn't get enough time to warm up yet. So, but it'll come into place soon enough. Like some of my older stuff. Here, I'll try to find something. Kind of getting an idea of like once I start finding my groove. Once I get all warmed up and everything, where are some of those newer ones? Not there. Is it on Umesh? Not there. I don't have that map there. I think it's Blora. Yeah, here we go. So, like, you know, I can draw, even though it doesn't show it right now. But, like, this is kind of an idea. And actually, I can put that up as a... how do I display images again? Image, there we go. I should set up an image slideshow. And okay, and just so you can kind of like, here, there's an example up in the corner. So I'm more of a character guy though, but yeah, like even that started looking this bad at first because it's just getting ideas down and then taking a look at like what do you like, what do you not like, and it'll help also if once I start like flipping horizontally. But I'm just doing like a quick pass, and I'm trying to get this idea of this dungeon mountain kind of shape thing. So maybe something a little bit more jagged and spooky. And so let's get like this nice big shape here, and let's get like this small shape in this side and a medium shape over here. So we're playing with this like large, medium, small. Yeah, thanks. Like it's, you know, it's a lot of it is just messing around and experimenting and being okay with it being like this rough at first, and knowing that it, as long as you work at it and you just like really take a look at what works in a design and what doesn't work, and making changes to it along the way. So know. And like right now, this, what's going to be a mountain looks tiny in this frame right now. But the moment that I start placing some elements that a little bit more like man-made, like if I say like this is a house, this little tiny thing, then it kind of feels a lot bigger. And if someone was standing there, they'd just be kind of like that tall. Yeah, I like in these early drawings, I like to stick with the values so that it forces me to think of the lights and darks first, and making sure that everything reads, because that's the important thing. It's readability when it comes to like games and film. Well, art in general, you want to make sure that the audience kind of sees what you're trying to showcase. And so let's go. So I'm doing this. Let's fade that down a little bit. And oh, you're not on lasso anymore. Just to get a nice like lighter tone on the horizon. On canvas, not palette. Yeah. And yeah, I'm trying out this restream. Going to there, so it goes to Picardo and YouTube and Twitch and Facebook. Get a wider audience. And with this stuff in the background, let's push on these shapes a little bit for like this large, medium, small kind of thing. And let's make this a little bit more like a medium. And it just feels like a repetition. And it's not parallel, so that's good. And maybe there's like treetops right here. And as that's coming closer towards us, actually, I'm going to, I want to fade everything down, so let's do a quick little bit of, oh, I could turn aspect ratio off now. Don't need you like that anymore. And, oh, actually, I could just, oh, right, yeah, because it's picking up that gray right there. So let's fill you white. Whoop. Layer above, just to push everything a little bit later. Because when I start adding in some of the more like larger trees that are in the foreground, I'm just like scribbling and it looks ugly. Ugh. You know, let's put a little more care into this. And let's crank this up so that we can see them above the canopy. bushes in there. But yeah, on stream I definitely plan on doing like all the artwork stuff on stream, just because it's more visually appealing, and I'll do all like the programming stuff on my spare time on the side, because that isn't as interesting to watch. So, you know, maybe this kind of road zigzags out. And let's go still a little lighter than that. You know what, maybe this one, let's mess around with like the characters already in the village. And so it's just a lot of practice, and I'm not amazing at programming. Like, I'm still learning a little bit. I had a year of university with learning Java 2, so it kind of helped give me a nice little start on understanding programming language. So I dabble a little bit with Python for Maya scripting, and C# with Unity. Oh, it's this is like technically my first like official stream since like 6 months ago, so I don't plan on it being super packed anytime soon, but you know, hopefully in time. You know, Rome wasn't built in a day, so. So we shall see. And I could probably delete that. Yeah, there we go. In time. And this will be like a great way for me to get some video footage as well. I'm hoping this is recording for my computer. Yeah, okay. Oh, maybe not. I'll have to fix that. It'll be like a nice way to get some video footage for like development blog or vlogs for the process, and like it'll help keep me motivated throughout the year and then some, depending how long this game project will last. And you know what, even though we're like within the town, I still want to make sure that this mountain is like taller than anything else. And if you hopped in, this is kind of like the main character that I'm going for, and she went through a lot of changes. Oh no! I deleted a bunch of layers. Well, I used to have Or is it on this one still? Nope. Oh yeah, that sucks. Oh well. Yeah. Well, I had a bunch of layers that showcased like previous iterations. Before it led into that character. I'll just probably like find what I shared with people on like Facebook and whatnot and just copy those files from there. Ah, that was me not paying attention. That's what I get for rushing through sometimes. Ah, well. But yeah, that's her final design, and I'm super happy with the look. I'm going with a stylized look to make my life a lot easier when it comes to modeling and everything. Yeah, well, like I had everything all in one layer, and then it was getting a little bogged down because I had so many layers with all the information. I was like, okay, let's break this up into a couple of different files. You know what? Let's rotate this one a little bit more forward. And that one a little bit more away. Yeah, let's just keep it simple for now. Okay, cool. No, it's like that's actually like pretty awesome information for me too. Yeah, I'm curious of how the delay is between Twitch and Facebook, and like at least it sounds like it's better on Twitch than on Picardo, so that's cool. And so what I'm gonna do is let's put you over to Twitch because I'm curious on if there's been any chat there. Oh yeah, that like even that isn't popping up. Oh. Yeah, thanks Keith if you're watching right now. It's you know, work in progress. It's just constantly trying to keep in mind to not like it's like the stuff that I need to like when I'm doing characters, I don't have to put so much brain power into it as much as environments. Though maybe I should. So, but it's fun. And okay, so you are muted right there. Yeah, don't worry. It's well, like a lot of them, it's a lot of practice and experience, right? Like right now, I'm hating this because like the mountain's in dead center, and you know I kind of want this to be a little bit more off center in that case. So let's copy you and hide you underneath because I don't need to cover up anything else. You know what? This one, let's put it on the opposite side because I've been doing everything like very very left heavy with the mountain. But yeah, like as an environment artist, there's a lot of research that and understanding you have to go through to do well with it, because like you have to, in this kind of case, I had to look at rock texture and old villages, and it was like a whole gamut of stuff to look at. And perspective, it's perspective when it comes to characters, you can get away with a lot more. While with environments, it's not as much that you can get away with. Yeah, I'm already hating this. I'm just gonna stop. You know what? I'm just gonna delete this one completely. Sometimes you just gotta cut the cord. You know what? I'm just gonna bounce around some of these for a little bit. Let's just start adding in a little bit of lighting in here. Yeah, and like I do plan on looking up some reference material soon enough. Once I get these major shapes kind of hitting in a place that I like. And at least I don't need to have that open, since I know that is coming through. That chat's coming through. But yeah, it's like readability, rule of thirds, perspective, research, and references. And just aside from that, just a lot of practice. Like when I was in school, even after school, environments kind of like I had difficulty working with them, and part of it was just because I was going super tight right away once I had my thumbnails. And that's what I'm looking at these as right now, is just kind of like thumbnails. So I'm not zooming in like super close at all, and I'm leaving at 72 DPI right now, just in order to mess around with the big shapes. So what if... So like the first like title idea or the name of this thing, this place I was calling it, it was like Dungeon Mountain. But what if it's just like this tall dungeon? It's just like it's big and it just got its namesake as mountain just because of how large it is. And you know what? Let's mess around with a different brush. Let's try shaking it up a little bit. Where is a nice chalk brush that I have? Because some chalk brushes, they're nice and wide. Painterly, Anchor, dry brushes. Hard round opacity. Oh man, I'm trying to think. I might be thinking of on Procreate some interesting brushes that I have on there. But yeah, the moment that, I'm cool with this. The moment that Clip Studio Paint allowed Photoshop brushes to be imported in, oh man, that was my brushes in this software like exploded exponentially. I really felt, yeah. I've been using Clip Studio Paint since they were still called Manga Studio. I've been using it for, oh man, how many years has it been now? I think since like 2007? When was Manga Studio released? It was originally released in 2001. In Western market in 2007. So it would have been, I think it was around 2010. And I picked it up originally because I still liked doing comics at the time. And also it had perspective rulers. It was the first painting program that I ever heard of that had perspective rulers, because Photoshop didn't at the time. Procreate wasn't even a thing. And so it appealed to me just in order to have an easier time doing backgrounds, just because I struggled with it so much. And it's actually pretty cheap, Clip Studio Paint, compared to a lot of other softwares. Like, that's why I'm no longer using Photoshop, really, is because I don't want to do a subscription-based kind of thing. So if you wait around, if you're not in a rush, wait until like back to school sale time, or Black Friday sales. And that's when, or even pay attention to when Clip Studio has another sale, which is usually pretty frequently, but those are the big ones. And it is pretty, I enjoy it a lot more now. There's only one thing that I kind of miss from Photoshop, and it's the RGB channels. Because when you're working with 3D, there's these things called normal maps, and the RGB channels kind of help out with that a little bit, because you can grab one of the color channels and kind of build the texture that you can get some information from the light in order to help build your textures, kind of deal. So but yeah, like, you know, Autodesk has been getting very handsy when it comes to the subscription-based stuff. That's why I'm just like, no more. But I'm pretty happy with it. If I want to get away from the computer, or if I want to break from it, I love Procreate. I don't do enough cleanup in Procreate, but that's where that image, that other environment that I have posted up, that was done in Procreate specifically. But it's not something that like I can't do in here too. It's just I do more character stuff, and that's why I have more stuff of that than anything else. So eventually, once I have like an image slideshow and stuff going on, you'll be able to kind of see that. Let's get this nice like zigzag pattern here. You know, and maybe there's like a, you know, instead of this being like a path, maybe there's like kind of like a river that like cuts through town. Maybe there's like some buildings on each side. And let's get like a bridge that goes across. And but yeah, like I've been using Photoshop, for example, since like 1999. Around then. It was right before I got into university and college. let's go with something a little different here. Let's get some negative space happening. Oh, thanks. Not much appreciated. Yeah, I was wanting to stream earlier in the year or even late last year, but I also had a friend who was wanted to start a new D&D campaign that he was going to DM, and he asked me to be a player, and I was like, yeah. So I was waiting to see what day of the week that was going to happen. It's looking like it's probably going to be on Sundays. So I'm going to be streaming Mondays and Fridays. I don't want to go too heavy too quick, so I'm just going to do twice a week and see how that goes, how I can handle that, and go from there. But yeah, I finished an art book late last year that I put out through Kickstarter and everything, which was like a lot of fun to do. It's like all of my like old artwork from like over a 16-year period, I think. And since that was done, a lot of my like work in progress projects that I was like always on again, off again, that I never finished, I just finally like, I'm going to walk away from them. I'm going to start something new and get it done. And I kind of teach, I teach in an animation program in college, and I kind of feel obligated to back up those words. So I definitely do plan on finishing, and also with doing the art book and actually finishing that project, it makes me feel a lot more gung-ho on getting this done. It's all about if you're an artist, or like if you like to create stuff, it's all about creating your own self-motivation to feed you to keep going, because motivation is such a, you want to find inspiration, I should say, because motivation is such a fleeting thing, and you want to find something to inspire you, which is going to feed motivation on a regular basis, kind of deal. You know what? Maybe let's select that again. Actually, no, let's not. Let's get that airbrush again, and maybe like the sun is setting right behind the tower. That would be cool. Wow. It's just like super blown out. Oh, thanks. Yeah, well, it's, you know, if you ever have any questions, I'm game. Like, you know, art is one of those things that anybody can do in time. It's a skill-based thing. What I find a lot of people mistake as talent is just people who have really good visual communication skills, and also able to see shapes and able to reproduce them. Like they're able to take a look at reference or research material and then apply it. But like those are skills. It's practice and time, and some people can do it a lot quicker than others. And you know, it's earlier stages when you're drawing. Like if you like to draw, it's just, what do you like to draw? What are the fundamentals of it? And just do a lot of that for a little while, but look at the baby steps that leads into the bigger project stuff. You know, don't push yourself on needing to do everything all at once. It's you know, it takes time. There's no fast tracking it whatsoever. Which I know, like, almost every professional artist out there kind of says the same thing, because it's true. It's a skill thing. And it's just like, how much do you have the patience in order to go through those 10,000 bad drawings before you can get to the good one, when you start feeling a little more confident, kind of deal. Alright, so I'm kind of liking this. It's feeling a little left heavy. So let's get some more elements over on the right. Let's get some, maybe some jagged shapes here. And that's why, like, I'm pretty slow when it comes to doing environments, just because I still have to put a lot of brain power into what I want. And so, like, what I like to do is I just like to think of, like, these big shapes first, and then later on I'll actually go through and use line work on top of what I apply afterwards. And the nice thing is, a lot of these shapes are organic, so I don't have to be as heavy with the accuracy in my perspective lines. Yeah, you know what? I've been on this for too long. Let's flip it. Flip it horizontally. Everything feels new and fresh and different. It makes it easier to do some changes. So what about you? What do you like to draw? Itachi? You know, I think this needs to be the tall one. And this one needs to be the shorter one, just to help balance it out a little bit more. Let's get some more buildings in here. So we got this road that's going to cut across. See, it's But yeah, I'd say if you like to draw and it's something that you're working towards on getting better, just really create a lot of artwork. Don't feel like you have to complete anything. Like, you know, do it for fun at first. Depends on how old you are and you're trying, like, what are your goals. But just start off with doing some fun stuff and start off small projects. Delve more like animal kind of stuff, making them cute little bees. I draw a lot of equine-based stuff, and I'm dabbling. Yeah, so if it's like perspective, for example, as like one of those things that you need to work on. Where's my perspective books? Oh yeah, here we go. Oh, that's volume 2. Is this volume 1? Yeah. So, you know, frame perspective. Is that actually in camera? Okay, cool. Yeah, frame perspective. This is like a great way in order to understand perspective. There's like a lot of cool stuff in here that I never even learned in school, which I thought was pretty cool. And there's like even volume 2, which I haven't even dived into yet. Another like smaller book, but it's super hard to get. I got it at a small convention in Toronto. It's by a guy who worked on on Hunchback of Notre Dame, and he did a bunch of environment art on there. I've tried messaging him on like where my possible students could actually like buy a copy of this book, but it's this little tiny thing is like amazing. So if you actually message Scott Capple, Caple, see if he still sells any of these copies. Like, it's just super awesome. There's a lot of cool free tutorials on FCD School, Feng Zhu. He has a lot of stuff on YouTube that's like free. Usually every summer when I'm on like summer break, I just start watching from video 1 all the way through for the past like 5 years or so, and there's usually something new that I'm always picking up on and trying out on my next paintings. Really, really cool stuff. But yeah, it's just, you know, be a sponge when it comes to learning and trying things. Yeah, I'm just trying to keep my art on track for a long time. And, you know, like that pressure, no offense, like that pressure, it's all you. So just try to feel less guilty or obligated. And really just sitting down and doing it. And I know it sounds easy. It sounds easier said than done, but it really is once you wrap your head around that concept. Because no one's going to fault you if you mess up a little bit, and you will, and it's okay to. Because that's part of the learning process. So tell yourself it's okay to only get it to look to a certain degree. Like your friends and family, they want to see your artwork, and that's why they're commissioning you for it. And you know, if they're good friends and family members, they'll be respectful about it. You know, that's probably why they're even asking you, is because they want to see some cool art from you. One thing that I've learned from concept guys too, concept artists in the industry, is if you have like in your workspace area where you like to do art, like a blank wall, start posting artwork on there as you complete it throughout the year. Like it's all like just the new stuff that you complete, because like since we work in a digital age, it's really easy to not see how much we actually do in a given time. And when you start posting it up, and as the year progresses, you're going to see that you actually do a lot more than you originally thought, and it's going to make you feel good. And the moment I started doing that, it's like world of difference. I was like super happy and motivated because it made me feel a lot better that I was accomplishing things. I don't have as big of a wall space here as like when I was like my office back at the college, but you know, due to the times, there's no point in me using that space right now because it's all work from home. But yeah, like I started posting some artwork. I haven't completed a whole lot because I've been busy with class prep and a lot of programming stuff. But I'm starting with this new project. Oh, also the book project and Kickstarter and everything. That slowed things down a little. But with this project, I'm super pumped on seeing my wall just getting like covered in a year's span. And it's also going to push me a lot more on doing more constant stuff. I need to move away from this one. I've just been noodling on that one for like a long while. You know what? Let's flip this back just to go 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. But yeah, have more confidence in yourself. You'll notice a huge difference. Okay, so now is a time where I can start making things look a little bit more legit and less garbagey. Okay, so let's look up some reference material. Mountainscapes. So all I'm doing right now is just taking a look at Mountainscapes as I go through, looking at some of the shape language and design, and trying to mimic that, using that information in here. Yeah, I never thought about it until I saw this behind the scenes stuff with some concept artists that used to work for, I think it was like LucasArts. Or Lucasfilms. And it like, when I saw it, I was like, oh man, that makes total sense. Because like, I still draw in a sketchbook, but you know, not everything is in the sketchbook. A lot of it's digitally, and we don't, you know, when you complete stuff digitally, you don't really see the drawing once you're done with it, right? You don't get to celebrate that victory of completing that art. And I was just like, oh my god, that makes so much sense. But yeah, it's I can tell you from personal experience, it's a huge motivational booster. All right, so this one I'm thinking of light coming in at this point of view with painting 1 from the upper left. So we're getting a lot of these like triangle shape kind of dealio. But yeah, I'm oh, there's some better example. This is kind of what I'm looking for, is this. There we go. That's looking more like the shape. I was getting a little backwards. And let's crank up the lighting a little bit more. Yeah, and anytime you get some work done, feel free to share it in the chat, especially when there's like more people around. Because it'd be nice to get like this nice community with people who are not afraid to share the artwork, give some critiques and ways to help everybody grow. Because we all just want to like improve in the long run, right? So I know I do. So if you ever see me doing this, I'm pretty much looking at reference material. Going through, yeah, let's get to a little bit of that misty fog, that atmosphere kind of vibe. And it's probably going to be quicker if I just Lasso Tool a bunch of this. I normally hate Lasso Tool because I find it's like super slow. But hey, sometimes it does the trick. It's a little much. There we go. Just give that nice little push. And I'm actually surprised how dark some of these shadows are on mountains. And if anybody else is like typing in chat in one of the locations, I am so sorry if it's not picking up in Restream. And you know what? Let's go with something like a little more like stringy clouds. And maybe this is like starting to wrap up around on the backside. Yeah, let's darken that up a little bit just to push those values for readability. Yeah, let's see how that goes. Doing these stringy clouds. Actually, I kind of don't like it covering up that much. Yeah, but you know, that's their choice, and but reference is crucial. Like all the pros use reference, because otherwise, how else are you going to make it look like what you intend it to look like? You know, for example, like I'm primarily an animator, and you know, I tell my students all the time, get up, record yourself acting it out, feel how your body moves in what you need to animate to understand what's necessary for the action. Because the pros that work at like Pixar and Disney and Blue Sky Studios and all that, like they have to do it, and you know, they're working on feature film movies. You know, I'm not as good as them, so I have to do just as much, if not more, than them. But yeah, like I want these mountains to look like mountains, these clouds to look like clouds, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just making sure that I'm looking at some of those things, and it's different than, because there's the difference of copying versus using as reference. And using reference, it's looking at the image and trying to see the shapes, the shape language. What makes it look like what you want it to look like. And yeah, you'll see, like, I'm a super messy painter. But also, I don't use a crazy amount of layers, especially early on. So, like, just diving right in and kind of feeling it out. I don't like that brush. What is this brush? That's some interesting. That actually might be nice for top of trees. Oh, there was. Is it the combo brush here? Man, where is that one? Ribbon. Yeah, you know what? I'll use a ribbon for a little while. Get some grit. Yeah, so light is shining down like that in this piece. That's kind of like what I'm keeping in mind of. So I'm kind of at a point where I'm going to start to use like another layer because I want to get some shadows in, because I can just go black and then tone it down. So I just want to make sure that the values don't bleed evenly from one element to another, but there's still like that sense of shadow happening, especially like these clouds that are in the sky. Well, the wispy clouds, they kind of don't have a lot of shadow, so let's get rid of that. Let's get some. Let's break these up from being black. Let's lighten them up some. And oh, wow, that's still like mid-tone. Okay. You know what? Let's up that a little bit, because it's not giving me a lot of wiggle room to work with. But yeah, if there are a couple of other artists that you want to try to find that streams, Dave Greco, I don't know how often he streams anymore. I wouldn't be surprised if he's just like super busy with work. But he streams once in a while, and he is a phenomenal artist. Like, I wish I was as good as him, but like I'm kind of more jack of all trades kind of guy, which you probably already figured out at this point. So, and yeah, like at least that gives me like a lot more wiggle room. But yeah, Dave Greco is super awesome, talented artist. I try to watch his stuff frequently. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, he definitely knows what he's doing. And if you ever listen to him on the stream, he just sounds like a super happy, chill, nice guy. Let's get some sense of light and form on these shapes here. And so maybe there's another one that's like this close. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what I can talk about while I'm doing this. Like right now I'm just trying to think of some like building shapes and then considering the fronts versus the sides, since I know where the light direction's coming from, and just trying to work with that. And there's no texture on this. How's the grit on this? That's okay. Oh. Oh yeah, that's right, the ribbon. But yeah, soon I'll switch it up to one of these other ones. I've been sticking on this one for like a little bit. Just to kind of bounce around and let's go back to DG main. There you are. So shadow's going to cast forward because the light's from behind. Awesome. No, that's great. Yeah, I think whenever I finish the stream, I might make some tea to consume. And you know what? Let's use this ribbon for this too. Well, like it's about being patient, right? Like there were some elements I liked from like at least one, and I kind of like some elements out of four, and it's just slowly building up from there. Because like for the first while, like looking at three, which is right below, especially like all this stuff down here, it just looks like simple brush strokes and like junk. But after a little bit, when you start thinking of like the fronts versus the sides and adding some light where the light is hitting and some darks on the opposing sides, it helps give just that sense of the changes in the planes, and that's what's important. It's all about the big shapes this early on, because I'm not. You don't want to do all the details like. Is this going to be a straw roof or wood panel or what have you? It doesn't matter right now because that's details. You need to get like the big shape to work, otherwise the smaller shapes will never work. It's you'll never save the drawing if the big shapes do not read at all. And thank you. It's it's patience is a part of it, and hoping that it will turn out. I am looking at Restream, which it's originating from Twitch. I think Twitch and YouTube. It's putting through. It doesn't seem to be. Oh, that's why. Okay, I see. It's for some reason, I need to figure out what to do about like the Facebook stuff. And let's mute you. There you go. I don't need you streaming. But yeah, hey Heather, how's it going? I am using Clip Studio Paint. Yeah, I just I figured that was possibly why you were asking. I guess the disadvantage is that it's not showing you Facebook comments. Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. But at least I can be mindful of it and then open up Facebook so I can see the comments coming in from there. Now that I know it, like this is my first stream after so long. I did like a little test stream 2 days ago, I think it was, just to play around because I was like, oh, let's stream again, and I wonder if there's a software out there that will stream to multiple places, just to try to hit more people, more people who like art and all that kind of fun stuff. So. Yeah, and I don't think it's picking up from Picardo also. So anybody that's watching from Picardo, I'm sorry. I haven't been paying attention over there. Stay on when you have streams. This is awesome. How can I stay up on when you have streams? I plan on having them Mondays and Fridays, like 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's nice and evening. Oh, thanks. Thanks for the follow. Oh, it didn't even do the little animation thing. I wonder if Alertbox. I gotta get that working. But yeah, once I get Alertbox working, I'll do some like custom animation cycles for that. That should be fun. But yeah, it was something that I wanted to do starting in the new year, get back to it, especially with this new like game project that I want to work on and create. I'm gonna have some fun with that. So, yep, still live. I hope. Should be. I'll type a reply just to be on the safe side. Hopefully it still is streaming through. I'm still streaming. Yeah, I think Chad is on Twitch, I think, and he's yeah. Oh, thanks. Glad to. I'm really happy with how the book turned out. I was really surprised at the quality that Lulu.com did with the printing. There's like a couple little tiny things, but it's kind of hard for me to figure out around that. Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah, so hopefully the video is still showcasing live there, Andrew. Yeah, I'm using Restream to stream to Picardo, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. And it seems like only Twitch, maybe YouTube comments are coming through. If anybody has been messaging me who's watching off of YouTube, has been messaging anything, I haven't been getting it, and I'm sorry. I'll have to find a workaround for that for sure. Oh no, yeah. Yeah, I only have one other stream right now. It was from 2 nights ago, and it's just the test run of trying out Restream and seeing how this whole process is, and just slowly getting back into it, kind of deal. I've dabbled enough on that one. Let's move on to one of these other ones and start elaborating a little bit more with it. Ooh, actually, that wouldn't make sense. So how's everybody doing overall? Heather, Brian, and Andrew. How's 2021 treating you? Any cool stuff? Which one am I gonna mess around with? Let's mess around with this tower one again. I kind of like this one a lot more than some of the others. So this one, it's kind of casting a shadow. Because I kind of have it like backlit, which is usually like a pretty bad thing to do. So let's have this like cool shadow that's like covering this entire place. Kind of gives this ominous, like, the tower, the danger of the tower covers all. On the old lockdown. My Twitch handle is Bromyr, BROHMYR. At least it should be that. If it's not that, then it's because it used to be that. What is my? That's a good question. Because I know I was changing everything to Josh Robertson art for making it easier. Because like once you, yeah, I'm still up as a Bromyr, BROHMYR. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just because Josh Robertson art was just like like 2 characters too long for Twitch, and I was just like, ah, man. Yeah, I have to still get all the settings going with alert box apparently. Yeah, it's it's the name of like a character for a story idea. But I also wanted to make sure that people knew it was me. And if you know me and my name, then Josh Robertson art is a lot easier to remember. Kind of deal. Oh, nice. Cocktails. Yeah. Growing up, I had 2 budgies. Man, those budgies were so vocal. Oh, yeah. Your brother brought Jerry to get a haircut done, right? Recently? Oh, yeah. They definitely are. That is for sure. Yeah. So right now I'm just slowly building up some shapes and values until I get something that I'm happy with. And once I get a certain level done, then I'm going to start working on, which will be soon, the sense of the forms. It's be cool with this one, just like it's lit from behind. This is for a game project actually that I'm creating. So here's kind of the main character that I finally settled on the design, and here's kind of the values when I was exploring sword shapes. She'll also have a shield, but yeah, like here are a bunch of the silhouettes that I was playing around with. And I took my favorite one, which I think was this one right here, the second last one in the middle row. And with it, I just pushed and pulled some shapes a little bit more. Yeah, so what you saw was actually what's going to be for the pose sheet, which were all these poses. And in the end, I'm going to build her into these 5 poses for the pose sheet, and then do the turnaround, do all the production stuff. But cool thing is, I can actually show some of the older designs. So this is kind of like an older design. Like there was a little more detail in with her, but I was like, well, since I'm building everything by myself, keeping it very simple. So I was like, okay, let's simplify the design a lot more, so it's easier to model and rig and animate. And since the idea of this game, like think Monster Hunter and Dark Souls kind of vibe. That's kind of like the direction I'm looking towards with this. Monster Hunter, I like the whole aspect of going out, defeating monsters, getting parts, and using that to craft, upgrade your gear. And so your character doesn't really level in the traditional RPG sense, but you as the player level by learning the moves and everything, and you can level up your equipment. So this mountain, long-term wise, like I only plan on building like a demo, which is like 1 level of this dungeon mountain thing. But in the game design document, as I'm building it up, the long-term one, if I actually like do build it completely, it would be 7 levels. And Dark Souls, I want that whole kind of like Metroidvania, where it's not just level 1 is here, level 2 is here, level 3 is here. They're intertwined. Because then you get to revisit areas that you were in before, but you're more experienced and more powered up. So you get a feel good moment of like, I'm kicking butt and taking names in this area. And then you get to those areas where like it's new and the monsters are tougher, and it's just like, okay, I'm still like learning. And you get this like really nice feel good moment to it. And the town on the outside, it's going to be the central hub kind of deal. So when you go in, you're not going to find like gold on creatures, because I always thought that was weird. And so you'll get monster parts off of creatures, and then you go back to town and you sell those parts for cash in order to afford stuff. So that's kind of like the concept that I'm going with. And so in my earlier idea, I was like, oh yeah, like there'll be different armor sets and you can craft them. And then the back of my brain is like, stop being so stupid. That's a lot of work for one person. You know, keep it simple. Because it's so easy to like go overboard with an idea, and it takes a lot to just rein yourself in and just like no, let's simplify so it's accomplishable, so that you can feel good when you get it done. So that's kind of what I'm constantly telling myself, and that's why I wanted to simplify. So I simplified, instead of armor sets with all these different weapons, just sword and shield. Maybe once I have that core game mechanic done, maybe I might introduce some other weapon types. But my main goal is keep it super simple, super controlled, and contained. And so this is all I'm just starting concept art for the main exterior of this mountain that has a dungeon built in, and the surrounding town that's the hub kind of deal. So I have like some visuals of the environment space as well, and I use Trello to track some so I have like different phases that I'm going to focus on. So right now I'm in phase 1. I'm working on the 10-pager of the game design document, the concept art for the main character, so the pose sheet, turnaround expressions, the starting weapon and shield, so I still have to do the shield, and then right now I'm calling it Mount Po, but we'll see how that name changes later on, but the concept of the exterior. So once I get all phase 1 stuff done, then I'll move on to phase 2, where I'm writing the story a lot more in detail. There's going to be like bare basics inside of phase 1 with the game design document. Get down to writing the lore, concepting a lot more of the detailed elements and the creatures and the plant life, the village in more detail. And that's also when I'm going to start modeling the character and everything. Yeah, same here. And that's why I'm also streaming, is to show that. Oh, yeah. Basics is huge. Just keep it super simple. And, you know, because then that way, keeping it simple, I can feel good when I hit those milestone markers. And there's no point in going too far ahead when certain elements aren't working. But yeah, I plan on definitely streaming very frequently now. I'm starting off with just Mondays and Fridays and see how that goes. But I definitely plan on this project taking up easily the year, if not more. And so each week there'll be like some progress here and there, and as each month goes by, it'll be bigger leaps and bounds kind of deal. But I plan on doing all the artwork stuff on the stream, not the programming side, because, you know, how much fun is it of like, I need to figure out how to program this little thing and I'm looking up tutorials and all that's not entertaining. Oh, thanks. And yeah, so I'm pretty high hopes with this, like high morale, and I'm pretty good with keeping high morale when it comes to doing art projects. So yeah, like I'm super pumped. I'm still kind of taking some Unity online courses through Udemy, and been having a lot of fun with that because I've been used to using Unreal, and Unreal's awesome. I like it. It's just as I've been diving a little more into Unreal Engine, it's more team game creator friendly versus solo dev kind of. So, and also the programming side of it, it's C++ instead of C sharp, and C sharp it's a lot more simplified. It's a lot more friendly to beginners. But yeah, like I'm super pumped with it. And like I just started this project like 2 weeks ago. It's fairly recent. So actually it was like right before the new year. And really just set like small goals if you're ever working on a project. Set some like small manageable goals and celebrate those victories once you hit them, and that's what's going to help keep your morale up. But yeah, here I'm just trying to get the feel for the big shapes. Like this is 72 DPI, so like I don't have to zoom in pretty far for it to start being pixelated. But once I like certain things, like I'm still going back and I like one a lot more, even though it's more done. But yeah, I'm kind of feeling the shapes a lot more for that one. So you know what? I'm just gonna let's move forward with that. Brohmyr, and what I'll do is I'll write it. Let's do it in color so it stands out a lot more. Brohmyr. So I'm on there as Twitch. I used to be there everywhere, but now almost everywhere else, it's Josh Robertson art. Okay, so what I'm gonna actually, I haven't saved this at all. Let's save this before I make a mistake. Oh, that's so not like me. Concept mount po. Oh man, something bad could have easily happened then. And it would have been totally my fault. So let's copy you. And let's group you up away. And expand you out. And edit, change image resolution. Let's bump you up to 300 dpi. Okay. So now let's mess around a little bit, crank up the levels a touch. So I want this to feel like a village, so let's get more buildings in here. And before I move forward, let's say this as a separate. This will be version 2. Yeah, let's get like another building here. Another one that's like off in the distance here. Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, 100% of. Yeah, and is Jerry the same breed as Bobby? It's close, right? And a side note too, thank you everybody who is hanging out and chatting. Yeah, it's the Bichon Frise, that's the... Oh, okay. So, how are your folks doing? Doing all right? So, side note also, I've been playing more Animal Crossing finally. I know, it's been forever. It was funny, I log on to my island and they're like, hey, it's been like 2 months since you were last here. I'm like, yeah, thanks for the guilt trip. But yeah, I ended up getting a spin bike. And I play at the same time now, like on TV. Oh, catch you later, Andrew. Hope you have a wonderful rest of the day and weekend. Thank you for coming by and hanging out for a little while. Yeah, much appreciated. Oh yeah, definitely had cockroaches. Like, I ended up squashing one, and then I left and worked on the island for a little bit, and then went back into my house, and there was like another one that like scared and wandered away. But now I don't have any more, so they stopped. My island looked like a hot mess for a good long while, just because I was like, I don't have the terraforming or anything yet. So I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing with this quite yet. But yeah, it's progress. I have, yeah, it's, when I got back, I was like, okay, what do I need to do? Because I was just like mulling around. Because I just, for any of you that are watching that, like I got Animal Crossing to play with some friends. So I had like a couple friends who were like, you should get it. I'm like, okay, you know what? Why not? And so I got it, what was it, like November? No, 2 months ago. So yeah, it was like October. Because I got pumpkins. And yeah, I only played it like maybe 4 hours. So I put more time into it this past week than I like did in all of October already. Oh yeah, it's all good. Yeah, because like there's so many games out there, and like I knew like I was going to find it like okay. It's like there's some game mechanics I'm just like I'm annoyed about with it, because it's It's like you could easily just put it where you can like at least you can say I want to sell all these items and then just sell. But there's like certain elements that they could do that as well, but they don't, and you have to actually like go through them individually, and it's just so slow. And it'd be nice if they can, like, once you get the animation once of the whole like spin around, I got a bug. Like every time you don't need that. So it'd be nice if like you can toggle that off at some point of saying like, okay, you know, I got it. Just let's move on. So it's just like some game mechanic stuff that I disagree with. But I do see why people enjoy it, because like it is a big social game, and I've been like on the fence of buying social games just because a lot of friends that I used to play with, they would just like play it like mad, and then I'm busy with work, and then by the time I get into it, they've already moved on to like the next game kind of deal. Oh yeah, it's like 2,000 bells. Yeah, earlier today I was watching a lot of videos on Animal Crossing of like things to keep in mind to do and to look forward to in the future and all that kind of stuff. So I'm slowly saving up bells for eventually once I finish, so that I have enough Nook miles, so I can afford the whatchamacallit, the terrain editor, whatever. I forget the term off the top of my head, even though I said it earlier on. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I had enough for that. Feels like these buildings. Let's put this a little closer to the road. You know what? Maybe this is like a long one. Long one, like sideways. But yeah, I've been getting some progress on it for sure. I've been using wooden stakes in order to kind of like plan out where I will eventually create paths. I think I'm going to try to work around with as much of what my island currently looks like, instead of having to do a lot of construction work on it. I moved the pumpkins off to the side. I accidentally used a higher end axe and permanently chopped down a bunch of trees, so I was just like, oh man. So that's a thing. I finally got the ladder so I can go up to like higher elevations. Oh, playing off of the VR system you got, Jay, or do you have like your own also that she was playing? It's good to hear that they're doing amazing, though. These ones off in the distance. Let's get some more value ranges on them. Ooh. Yeah, Mei must be really enjoying it. Well, I don't know, because like I don't know if she's like big into playing games or not. I only saw her like twice, I think. Oh, nice. Yeah, I could see that being entertaining. this is feeling like repeated shapes, a little too similar. Let's break this up. Flip you for a while. Don't need you anymore, so let's actually delete you. Okay, so lights going that way. So these are going to cast some shadows. So get some of those going. Yeah, I'm still messing around with shapes a little bit before I start getting to line work. Line work stuff. Okay, so it's going to cast a shadow. So let's say that cloud, that misty cloud, is going to cast a shadow like here. And that one's closer. Actually, it's like wrapping around the mountain, so it's going to be actually up here. And this one actually is closer than that. That's hilarious. So have you been neglecting your island all this time? Or have you been actually like doing some maintenance on it? And let's say like that one's like kind of scooping down. And just tone it down. Oh, nice. Oh, did they actually get the multiplayer going now? Oh, right. I was looking at multiplayer split screen earlier. That's what I was. That's what's still like in the works. Yeah, because I started playing Minecraft with my mom over the Christmas break, and she is hooked. It's awesome. And since she doesn't play a lot of games, she was struggling with like the dual analog stick, and like most people who don't play a lot of games, that's usually like the first hang up when it comes to 3D games. The one for the character movement, and the other for the camera. And she's gotten the hang of it now. But I was looking at Stardew Valley couch co-op on the PlayStation, if that was released yet, just because then you don't have to worry about the 3D world, and the dual analog stick movement is just your character moving around in the screen space. But yeah, when I was looking online, they were saying like, yeah, it's not released yet. And I was just like, ah. Oh yeah, like she has it on her iPad now. She bought a PS4 controller and it's Bluetooth linked onto her iPad, so she can use the controller to move around. It's actually like pretty nice on the iPad, just because when you want to quickly move items from your inventory into a storage box or whatever, you can just touchpad in order to quickly move them instead of having to like use the move controls in order to like quickly select it first and go over to the other box and hit a button and all that kind of stuff. So this town, it kind of needs a town square. So let's make like a town square right here. Let's give it like a well. Because every village needs a well. But my mom wanted to play a game. She's like, yeah, I'm cool with playing a game where like I could just, gather stuff for you. I'm like, no. If we're gonna play a game, I want you to have some fun. You're not just gonna do chores, even though like that's a lot of Minecraft. But yeah, she's getting into the crafting now. She loves the fishing. So overall, having a good time, which is awesome. So there is a well, and let's push the values down a little bit, get some atmosphere in there so these shapes can read a little bit more of the well compared to that house in the background there. So like if there was like a little bit more freeform when it comes to like the building in Animal Crossing, I would enjoy it more. I'm hitting a point where it's a little bit more enjoyable at the very least. Kind of deal. But yeah, once I know I can hook up my PS4 back onto this TV instead of the one in the main living room, then I'll probably try going through Assassin's Creed Valhalla while I'm on like the spin cycle. Maybe alternate every second day. So on my island I have is this her name, Renee? It's a pink rhino. I just got Annabelle, and she just moved in. I just finished making the parts for the 3 different house structures. If that makes sense. Because that's when you get the ladder, right? But yeah, I just got that part, and Annabelle just came in, and the other one I have, it's what's the penguin's name? But it's like the little penguin, but since he's like the first male animal that showed up, he has that sporty, working out kind of personality. So right now he's going around the beach area. He's like, hey, we need to work out and let's do some swimming and da-da-da. I have no idea who like any of the villagers really are. Because I never played any of the other Animal Crossing games. So... But I figured, like, since I have the spin bike, in order to get some exercise, I figured it was like a nice starter because it's not very intensive. Oh, well, I could. Oh, the switch is off. Yeah, I'll deal with it later. Yeah, I'll message you later. I'll log on there before I go to bed tonight and message you of which penguin it is. Yeah, I'm just glad like there's none of them that have like jerk personalities. So that's a benefit. That's funny. There's 10 penguins. Jeez. Let's make this like a short, long one. Okay, I'm just noodling around. Okay, let's look at some tree lines. silhouette. There's a lot of evergreens. Okay. Yeah, it's all I heard from like a bunch of students was just like, I got this jerk on my island trying to get rid of them. I'm like, ouch. You know what? Let's not have these straight lines in here. Let's get some like cool shaped trunks. Let's go with something. There we go. Make it a little bit easier to see. Let's get some nice gnarly twisted trees. Oh wow, it's already 11:30. Okay. I was telling myself like, I'll stream from 9 to like 11. I'm not in a rush anywhere. I'm just didn't expect to already be like past 11 at this point. Last time I checked, it was like not even. It was like just past 10. Yeah, I saw that was a thing. Just ignore them. Just fence them in. So here, let's do a safety save. Because, you know, things happen. Yeah, I gotta get up tomorrow morning. Make some dough. It's gonna be pizza because it's pizza day. Oh, thanks. Yeah, oh, right, that was in the sketchbook. Yeah, I wanted something different than, like, super boxy houses. Yeah, here we go. So I was playing around with some alternate shapes. Kind of deal. But yeah, like I started making pizzas on Saturdays when I had a sourdough starter before I killed it accidentally. But you know, experimentation, and I just didn't want to make another one because it was just like it was a lot of work. It was just like so much cleaning up after because of like everything. So I kind of don't miss the sourdough starter, but you know, it is what it is. No, I haven't actually. But yeah, like the crust that I make, it's like the dough that I make, it's super simple. It's just flour, water, yeast, salt, and like a little. I add a little bit of sugar. It's not in the original recipe, just in order to help activate the yeast a little bit better. But yeah, I've never tried tuna pizza. Is it just like using the actual tuna for the crust, like what some people would use cauliflower, just for like a gluten-free option? And I think there's like some cool foliage, fir, dead trees. Oh, jeez. What am I doing? Let's just use that. Okay, so let's repaint on this. Yeah, there we go. Depends on where you go. I didn't get around to playing Among Us. Jason asked me if I was interested in playing because apparently a bunch of you play on Saturday evenings, but it happens to be the same weekend rotation when I am DMing a D&D game with some buddies, which is tomorrow. So like tomorrow during the day, I'm gonna be doing prep work stuff because it's my own story, also. And party has some. They just arrived into a town and all that fun stuff. Yeah. All right. Cool. Let's make my life a lot easier. Trees. And I just. Yeah, like I like the idea of Among Us. Man, I felt so sad for the creators because they made it such a long time ago and it didn't even like really get its start until recently. Which it's good though. Like they got some forward momentum finally on it. Does this even have foliage? No. Is my foliage brush on here? No. You know what? Let's quickly make a foliage brush just to make life a little bit easier. Let's make a brush. Let's go change you to pixels. And I'm going to do it at 300 DPI, just to be on the safe side. Oh, wow. It's 100 pixels. Let's, yeah, that's fine. And let's see how much I remember about making brushes in Clip Studio Paint. I had a foliage brush. Must have accidentally deleted it when I was cleaning up a little bit. The other thing that I give Photoshop huge credit for is the building brushes. It's pretty easy compared to some other softwares. But yeah, this D&D group I've been DMing the same story and group for a little over a year now, and we're like. I would consider this, like, if it was a TV show, I would consider this, like, they're at the early parts of season 2. So, like, the story is getting pretty interesting. I was considering on storyboarding it out just to share the story with other people, but I was like, nah, that's a lot of work. let's do something different. So I'm going to use something like this for foliage. So how do I go about saving this again? You know what? Let's just, to get the answers quicker, Google how to make brush in Clip Studio Paint. Yeah, I don't want to watch videos. Just layer properties panel, selections, crop the pattern. Oh, edit menu. And oh, right, material registration. That's what I'm looking for. Where are you? Register material, image. I might have to invert this. So let's map those together. Edit, register material, image, foliage 1, use for brush tip shape. Oh, specify location. Monochromatic, sure. Okay, and then let's create a copy of the current one. Say name. Do you want to proceed? No. Foliage Josh. And let's go into the properties here. And where is a brush shape? Brush tip. Let's get a material in here. And all these foliage. There we go. And let's take a look. Stroke. And yeah, I need to invert it. Okay. There we go. Edit. Let's go through that again. Register material, image, foliage, tip, Josh 2, and monochromatic for brush tips. Yeah. It's like the opposite of Photoshop. Or not? Why is the whole entire... Oh, it actually does register the alpha. Oh, gotcha. Let's undo to before that. I am sorry if this is boring for you. I almost got it. But I thank you for your patience. But yeah, once I get the kind of like foresty area sketched out, I'll call it a night there. But the next time I do plan on streaming will be Monday evening, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time till question mark, and that question mark will probably be around 11:30. There we go. Register material. Oh, Breath of the Wild is amazing. It's so good, so good. It's up there as one of my favorites. It's really well thought out. Like, they definitely like, my only gripe with it would be that there's more than just the 4 divine beasts when it comes to a larger scaled dungeon. And well, you can kind of consider Hyrule Castle a dungeon also, because it's pretty massive, that alone. But all the little shrines, it's just like one little puzzle and that's it, and it's a little on the easy to do, boring side. Oh, thanks guys on Keith and Matt. Yeah, it's alpha. What am I gonna call this? Foliage Josh, hopefully final. But yeah, for Switch, unless you don't like that kind of game, it is like a must in my opinion, for a Switch. And let's get a material in there. Let's get that foliage. I was going to guess. Yeah, it's I'm hopefully final. Yeah, it's that one right there. And let's take a look at the stroke effect. There we go. There, that's registering properly, I think. I wonder if I have to invert that. Oh, we'll see. Okay. So narrow, normal. Yeah, let's go normal. And brush tip. Welcome to creating brushes. Where is color jitter? Actually, some brush size. So I want the size to be all right. Opacity. This is what I'm looking for. So pen pressure for the opacity. You're already on there. And the shape, you're not going to get what I want. Maybe it's the tip here. So what I'm looking for, here we go. Flip horizontally and flip vertically. I want them to be random. And what's cool with that is it's going to help with getting some randomization in the brush shape. For any of you artists out there, so that it gives a little bit more interest, because like right now they're all mirroring the exact same direction and everything, and I don't want that. Oh yeah, that's right, the eyes are just for down there, so I want those random. So that's angling everything, but I want it to be random. There we go. Yeah, full strength. And flip horizontally, flip vertically, density. That's if we want to change the thickness in general. And I think that's kind of it. I just need to tighten that up again. So let's go here. That's looking good. Repeat methods. Let's go random there also. I don't want watercolor edge. Let's leave it at that. I started it so hard. So starting out in Breath of the Wild, it's kind of pace yourself. Don't try to do everything all at the same time. And crap, I think... Oh no, there we go. Why is... Oh, yeah, I have to invert it. Oh, man. Okay, well, I'll eventually get around to... I'll get it right at some point. Foliage, Josh, good. So the other one is like an eraser. It just removes it, the paint. Okay. But yeah, it's be patient and use the environment to help you out. Have you gotten to collect your whatchamacallit, the Sheikah Slate abilities, like the bombs, the magnet, all that kind of stuff? There we go. And did it keep that? Yeah, repeat. Brush tip shape. Cool. Good to go. Is this going to paint now? No. Why are you... Oh, I made it on an eraser. Duh. Foliage Brush. I don't even remember hidden eraser tool. Oh my god. Half an hour later, finally figured out how to do the brush again. Yeah, it's been so long. Only have the magnets. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, so you have magnesis. You'll have enough spirit orbs once you get all of the beginner ones in order to get a heart container piece. So one of the things I'd say is don't go near the bokoblins that have that fire arrows at you, because that is what's going to make things a little more difficult. Stick more to the ones that only have the clubs for melee to make your life a little bit easier. Try to tackle them one at a time. Since you have magnesis, if you find like one of those metal boxes, you can just pick that up with the magnet and just like smack it sideways against creatures. If you find there's some places, like avoid that big skull area. So much death, instant death. Yeah, the big part of the beginning part is to teach you how to play the game. So that you understand. Why are you? Ooh. Why is it white? Oh, you know what? I'm just going to give up on that for now. I know I have Foliage Brush kicking around somewhere. Trying to think. You can, if you can hit a bokoblin, if one of them has like a club, if you knock them a couple of times, chances are you can knock them down and they'll drop the club. Just go and pick it up right away so they don't have that weapon on you. Oh, yeah. Like, basically, if you can think it with some possibilities of what you can do in the game, you can probably do it in the game. It has what they call a chemistry system, which is actually pretty robust. It's you don't have the paraglider yet, so that doesn't matter. But if you light the grass on fire, there's a little bit of a gust of wind that goes up, and you can use that in order to carry yourself up to higher areas to get a drop onto enemies. Don't bother using the torch unless you want to light it on fire and smack enemies with that. Alright, so you know what? I'm just going to use this fur one. Enough noodling around. I'll make use out of it. I'm trying to think of like what else we're starting off with, and just explore, feel out the controls and the movement. At the very beginning of the game, it feels like it super sucks when weapons break, but once you get that momentum going, it's actually a pretty nice system because it forces you to try out different weapons. But yeah, it's like one of my favorite games. It's so good. I've beaten it twice. I'm pretty far in a third playthrough whenever I'm just like, I want to play some Zelda. But yeah, Breath of the Wild is awesome. Where did that... Yeah, dead trees. There we go. Let's get some bigger dead trees in here. was fur 1 versus fur 2? Yeah, this one's spikier. And it's that close to the characters. I kind of want to do... And actually, I want to shrink this down. So I want it to be like still further away perspective-wise. I'm trying to think of like what else would be helpful. Oh yeah, just cook food. Because once you get hit, if you're still alive, you can eat food in mid-combat in order to heal up your hearts. So food is like your savior. If you haven't done any of the cooking yet, you can just... The easiest thing to do is just get some apples. Don't eat apples raw. Bake them. Where that old man is by that fire at the very beginning, you can just go right to that fire and drop the apples nearby it until they turn a darker color, so they'll be baked apples, and just pick them up, and they'll heal more hearts baked versus not. You can get some fish just by like jumping into the water. If you can find, if you can see some fish inside of the water areas, there's usually some like Hyrule bass in near where you got magnesis. It'll be handy to get a couple, at least one Hyrule bass for later on, because when you find this wood cutting cabin and you read about how the old man used to have this recipe. This recipe for to help fight the cold. The ingredient he forgot is the actual Hyrule bass, and the other ingredients are like right there by his cabin. And that'll be handy for when you go up into like the cold area, because if you don't have anything to help you with the cold, you'll take damage because it's like frostbite. Yeah, let's get some thin grass going on in here. And there was another grass, right? Yeah. But yeah, definitely get into cooking. There's in, I think, one of the Bokoblin camps. There might be one in the Bokoblin camp, but as you let's say you're just like exiting the Shrine of Resurrection where you wake up, and then to your right it's that path that leads towards the church or temple. If you go back behind there and you keep going a little ways, you'll see like this little like woodcutter cabin, and the old man will be out there with some and that's a good way to get like an axe, which is actually pretty alright for a starting weapon. Later on it's not good as a weapon, it's more for like just chopping trees easily and getting wood. But by there's a fire with kind of like a clay dish, and you can go into your inventory and hold food, and then pop out of the inventory, and when you're near that thing, it says gives you like a button to click on to cook, and you just throw the items in, and there's like a little dance and music, and gives you your food afterwards, and it's actually like pretty awesome. And let's get a little bit of light areas happening there. But yeah, this is kind of like, I don't know, I'm kind of liking how it's like slowly coming along. So I think from here on the next stream, I'll take this and I'll start doing like a line work drawing on top. Now that I have kind of some of the general shapes in there. Any of you that are in chat, if you're like looking at this and you're like, it kind of feels like it's missing a little something. If something comes to mind, hey, I'm all ears. Yeah, but I think once you feel out some of that kind of stuff, you'll get a better understanding of it. If you have a bow, and like at least like 1 or 2 arrows, when you're going behind that church, you'll see like 2 or 3 bokoblins by like a little fire, and you can actually like get their attention if you see the tree with kind of like a beehive or honeycomb, and if they're closer to that honeycomb, you can like fire an arrow to hit it to knock it down, and the bees will go after them and they'll take some damage. But yeah, it's just the other thing you could do is you can work on the kind of parry mechanic, where as a monster starts to swing at you, while you're holding block, if they're swinging like horizontally, if you press away and jump, you'll kind of go into like a Matrix like freeze time moment, and you can just mash the attack button to do like a big combo hit while they're like slowly moving, and it's great. Once you feel that out, it just makes combat super easy. Can you tell that I play games? For those of you that don't know me. But yeah, thanks everybody for showing up to the stream. Hope it's entertaining for you to some degree. For those of you who hopped in like a little on the later side, I'm doing concept artwork for a video game project idea that I'm doing. And so the main character is this character right here. I still have to design her shield. But here's kind of like the sword silhouette shape for her, and that's to scale with her character. And so the whole game idea is there's this town at the base of a mountain, and inside the mountain there's this like dungeon that she wants to traverse to get to the top, in order because it's like there's riches up at the top. So it's kind of like the idea. I'm still working on. It's like I just started this a couple weeks ago, so it's just like still in its early stages, but should be fun and interesting. And I'm gonna be doing all the art side of things on the streams, just because it's a little more visually appealing. So that way you don't have to see me struggling through with the programming side and stuff not working. And later on in the year, as there's some game element stuff that's playable, I'll have versions that people can download and try out and actually play yourself. And but yeah, welcome to the beginning parts of that, so you get to see the experience from initial creation. So but yeah, thank you very much for everybody that came by. It's definitely a lot more than I expected, so I'm like super happy about that. Thank you everybody. And yeah, I'm looking forward to streaming more for sure. The next one will be Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Oh, thank you. Like I'm pumped. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited about this project. So it's a nice new one. It's not one of my old ones that I've just been like, maybe I'll do this, and I just never get around to finishing it. So just breaking that cycle. So but yeah, here, this is kind of like where the stage that I usually work to whenever I'm doing environment sketches, where I get to the point where I start doing the pencil work, just like this one that I'm expanding right now on camera. You can see like it's still like loose pencil work, but this is actually like a little further along than what I did with that one right there. So I'm looking forward to expanding on it, and I might get some ideas with maybe getting some like little bits of foliage or something from like it's bleeding on the side of the mountain. And oh, that's right. I'm gonna quickly sketch in the. I need the entrance to this thing. Let's do the entrance like there. It's not super dark, but let's get some sort of like structure or something, just to signify its entrance. But yeah. So for those of you that are going to come by on Monday, see you Monday. If not, hope you have a wonderful week, and everybody have a wonderful weekend.